Zhao D-Train here on the ones and the twos. Daniel Ehrenberg. Welcome to this episode of the franchise, episode number 268. How close am I? Am I remotely close?
I mean, remotely could be fair. You could say remotely. It's 274.
Oh wow, we're actually further than I thought. Wow, next week is 275? And what a special film we're covering for the anniversary.
Yeah.
You'll find out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
All right, listen, Henry Papali's over there. We don't have any time to waste.
No, we do not, Zhao Daniel, and I'm over here, Henry Son. I guess I'll take the Henry Son.
Take the Son this week, yeah.
I thought you were going to take the Son because it's Daniel, but we're not covering. Well, we kind of are.
Daniel San is in attendance this week, of course, and his older, weirder, I don't know, looks kind of weird. He looks all right.
Gel in his hair would help, I think.
You know, they gave him too hot a wife. It's like, it's weird. Like, I can't picture him pulling that. But you know what? He pulled a Shu. He pulled a Kumiko. This Daniel San knows no boundaries.
By the way, they're far more attractive than his wife, even though I think she's great in the show.
Henry, we're not here to play marry, fuck, kill with the loves of Daniel San. All right? Although, marry, fuck, kill, Elizabeth Shue, Kumiko, or this wife. Let's do it. Honestly.
We're really doing it?
Yeah, I think you got to just go in chrono order.
I think you're right.
Sorry, buddy.
I think you're right.
Although that guy on IMDb whose review about Kumiko that I read would disagree.
That he would. That's his love, long lost.
That guy loved Kumiko. All right, we're talking
about that guy. I think that guy was actually writing from a penitentiary, and
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of sense there.
Let's talk about karate. Although, let's put karate aside for now, Henry, because let's talk about kung fu.
Kung fu.
Mm-hmm. Because this week we're gonna talk about the only Karate Kid movie with no karate.
Yeah, it's the only Karate Kid movie with a lot of things. Yeah.
Like what else?
What
does it lack?
Believability.
Skeleton masks.
Skeleton masks. Good acting.
Well, this movie had good acting from some.
Stakes.
Seems like Henry did not enjoy the Karate Kid remake.
Stakes.
What else?
Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
It had fences. It had cars. It had like fun little poses. You know.
Got to see the Forbidden City. That was neat. I just was waiting for that.
They shot at the Forbidden City. That was wild.
That's all I wanted to see. I was like, when is this coming? Because I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Has that been done? That hasn't been done in many American movies, right? Maybe just that Great Wall movie with Matt Damon.
That's a shame. We get 2 movies a century to film there, and that's one. And these 2 are the ones.
Well, it's sort of like how the first movie that ever filmed in Moscow's Red Square was Red Heat with Jim Belushi and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's fucking crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's in the 80s, man. Before
the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Quite a bit.
Is Peace on Earth, Henry, is it all about walls? That's a good question, isn't it? Maybe, is this a political statement about Trump? So he had a wall, all right? There was a Berlin Wall. There's a China Wall, Great Wall, one of the best.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't just call it the best wall.
The best.
I think another country should build a wall as big as the Great Wall, call it the best wall, and then just constantly like throw shade at China. Like, yeah, yours is great and all, but like, we have the best wall.
Yeah. I actually think it's the opposite. of peace. I think it's done for war. That's why the Berlin Wall was created.
Walls are built
Defi-
as separations.
Correct. Right, right. Keep the East Germans from the West Germans. Communism versus democracy. Ass-face president wanted to build one in Mexico to keep out all Latino people of all kinds.
And the Mexicans were going to pay for it, Henry. Remember that?
That's right. I remember that plan, how that worked out pretty well. If he could have, he would have built a wall in the sky to keep Muslims out.
What do you think? What do you think the best wall? Now that we know China only has a Great Wall, not the best wall. What is the best wall? Is it Pink Floyd?
I mean, I think most tracks on that are pretty good. I think there's some weaker ones, but I think you brought up a great point. Yeah, I certainly like the cover.
It's just a wall, straight up.
Yeah, I mean, they, for a more abstract band, they just went for it right there, just direct.
They weren't very abstract if you think about it. The cover of Animals has animals on it. The cover of The Dark Side of the Moon has a dark side of a moon on it.
I meant their like style and all that, not necessarily their.
They're stupid. I don't like Pink Floyd. What are we talking about? Let's talk about Karate Kid. They remade it. So this franchise lay dormant for decades, Henry. Yeah. 1994, they released the Hilary Swank Next Karate Kid. We talked about it last week. We enjoyed watching it even though it was bad. And then 10 years pass. It's 2004. No sign of a Karate Kid movie. What's happening? All right, what? And then, I don't know what I'm doing today. And then in 2008, Henry.
That's 2008?
That's 2008.
I follow the math. All
right. A young man. Well, let's go back a little bit. All right. So here's the timeline. 1994. Next Karate Kid comes out. Tanks. Nobody likes it.
Yeah.
All right. And we dream. When will there be another Karate Kid film to sate our karate needs? We all felt that way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Will Smith did something about it, okay? In 1997, he had unprotected sex with Jada Pinkett Smith, all right? From Set It Off. All right, you've seen Set It Off? Well, Jada Pinkett Smith from that movie let Will Smith come inside of her, okay? And what resulted from that was that in 1998, she gave birth to a young man named Jaden Smith. Okay?
Yeah.
And Will, he has foresight, okay? And he took one look at this kid, and he was like, you, my friend, are the Karate Kid, all right?
Dude,
and
little baby.
He didn't wait long, only 10 years. In the year 2008, when Jaden was only 10 years old, Will Smith went to Columbia Pictures, who had the Karate Kid rights, and was like, I've got an idea for a Karate Kid reboot. It's not really an idea so much. It's just put my kid in it.
Right.
All right?
Clearly. Yes.
Columbia Pictures, it's 2008. They took a look at Will Smith walking in. They're not used to Will Smith walking into their offices. Will Smith usually walks into the offices of real movie studios, Your Disneys, your 20th Century Foxes, your Warner Brothers, all right?
Columbia. What'd Columbia ever do
to
you?
You think Will Smith is hanging out around Columbia or MGM? He doesn't touch those places with a 10-foot pole. But he had a Karate Kid idea, and Columbia had the Karate Kid. So Will Smith walks in there. They must have had a fucking conniption fit when they saw this guy. It's Will Smith in Columbia. All right?
Didn't know any of this. Yeah.
So he walks in there, and he's like, put my kid in a Karate Kid movie. They're like, all right. What else? Yeah, what are they going to say?
No, it's a verbatim transcript from what I hear. Yeah.
Will Smith is not going to hear no from Columbia Pictures.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
they didn't even ask if you think it'll make money, Will? Do you think it'll make money?
I don't even think they asked the kid if he'd do it.
No. It's a Hollywood kid, of course.
Yeah.
Not, isn't
Will came home that night and was like, you're going to be the Karate Kid.
and his son was like, what does that mean? I'm gonna go to take lessons somewhere?
You got
He's like,
excited because he
"No."
thought he was going to take karate lessons, and Will's
Yeah,
like,
no.
well, you're half right. You will take karate lessons. Well, you won't. You'll take kung fu lessons. But it's going to be in service of a film that you are going to be the star of. I'll go ahead and show you the original right now. All right? I suggested, you see this character, Mr. Miyagi? I suggested Jackie Chan because it was the first Asian guy I thought of.
That's right. You see how in the original he's from somewhere that's not China? Well, Jackie Chan is from China, so it'll work. And if you saw Rush Hour, you'll know.
Well, this was 2010, Henry, and what you have to know about around this period, like the late aughts, early tens, was China was making a play for Hollywood. All right, they were really working with Warner Brothers, with Legendary Pictures. They were making like multi-million-dollar deals with Brett Ratner at this time, and they thought like China was going to be the new America, that American films were going to literally double their box office intake in China going forward because China was starting to get on board with Hollywood. And so around this time is when you start seeing Chinese actors pop up in every American movie, usually not in significant roles, but you're like, why is that Chinese guy there? The answer is for that reason.
I did not know that.
Yeah. We talked about it when we covered the X-Men franchise. I feel like they do it a couple times in there.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we're in China for this movie. We're just sucking up to the Chinese. And then ultimately, the Chinese, like, didn't do right by America, and we're like, fuck you guys, we don't want to work with Hollywood anymore. So now, like, they don't even show American movies in China. So all this work we did, this Karate Kid movie, the whole reason it got made, other than the Jaden Smith thing, it was negated completely.
Yeah.
It was for nothing. We got cucked by those sons of bitches.
Look at you. Look at the observation. Wow. Yeah. Probably a risky endeavor to try to collaborate artistically with your chief competitor in everything in the world. But you never know.
You know, Hollywood, they just want to be in on the next big thing. And if we're going to get beat by China, let's move right on over.
Let's make a little coin out of the human rights atrocity country.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Fine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we're going to start filming in Saudi Arabia pretty soon. That's going to be our next.
Well, do you know that the WWF now? Excuse me, the WWE. I don't want to mess up the World Wildlife Foundation. I want to get them upset with me.
No, but you don't mess up me because I still call it WWF.
Yeah, I know. World Wrestling Entertainment, Henry, has done 5 pay-per-view shows in Saudi Arabia over the last 3 years.
Not very good.
But listen to this statistic. They made more money from those 5 pay-per-views than every WrestleMania in history combined.
How? Why?
Because Saudi Arabia pays them to ignore their human rights violations.
They made money off it the same way that we make money off it for everything. Got it.
All right, let's talk about this Karate Kid movie. We have a new director involved, Harold Zwart. And he's a Dutchman. And he has frequently flitted back and forth between the Netherlands and Hollywood. Like, I think he likes making movies in Hollywood, but he doesn't want to be beholden to it. Like, between Hollywood movies, he'll go back and make something in the Netherlands.
Well, I seen that I have seen one of his other movies, and I even mentioned it on this show a long time ago, and it was one of the best movies of 2017.
Well, I've seen 2 of his other movies. 2 of the best movies I've ever seen, Henry.
Well, you're being sarcastic. I am not.
What's yours? This one, The 12th Man?
Yeah, Norwegian film.
Well,
here we go.
Nazis are in it, so we know why Henry loves it. He loves Nazis.
All right.
The 12th Man.
Probably in this day and age, might want to not say that too much.
Well, you love classic Nazis. We know that you're not some kind of late comer. You're not into this new crop of Nazis.
I like World War II
You
movies.
need an SS uniform.
I like World War II movies. It's a true story, and it's a really, really, really excellent film.
There were 12 saboteurs. The Nazis killed 11 of them. This is the true story of the one that got away. Wow, how wistful. The one that got away from the Nazis. The one Jew. He managed to... They spent the rest of their lives looking for him.
Yeah, it's a very excellent movie with that guy you think is attractive, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
Everyone thinks he's attractive. He's one of the handsome men in the world.
We've had this discussion.
I know. It frustrates me.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy... Can we talk about Zwart?
Sure.
Okay.
Zwart.
His first movie in America after his debut film in the Netherlands... Actually, it might have been in America. It's called Hamilton. It looks like Peter Stormare and Mark Hamill are in it. What the fuck?
Wait,
all right.
Mark Hamill?
Yeah, Mark Hamill's in it. Mark Hamilton. I've never seen it, but who cares? Then he made One Night at McCool's, Henry.
Oh, I never saw that. Avoided that one big
What
time.
a classic neo-noir.
Yeah.
All right? With a great Matt
Right.
Dillon performance. A very sexy Liv Tyler. It's one of my most liked Letterboxd reviews. All right?
Really?
That's right.
Let's hear it.
I think I wrote something about DVD players. There's a subplot in that movie about anytime someone... It came out in like 2001, and anytime somebody finds out that somebody owns a DVD player in that movie, they're always like, oh, they're rich.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I wrote... I think my review is like, this movie considers DVD players the ultimate status symbol. And everyone who watches the movie understands the joke and loves the review. What a hit, Henry. One of my biggest hits.
Wow, a lot of likes on that one, huh?
Yeah. He followed that up with Agent Cody Banks, a great spy film with Frankie Muniz and Hilary Duff. We'll cover it someday. They did make a sequel called Agent Cody Banks 2, Operation London.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
He went back to the Netherlands for a little while after that, then came back, made Pink Panther 2, the sequel to the Steve Martin Pink Panther.
Okay.
All right. Maybe it's good. Who knows? We'll cover it.
Oh, no, it's true.
Then this, The Karate Kid, a 2-hour and 20-minute remake of The Karate Kid with no karate. Then followed that up with, 2013, YA was the hit with Twilight and Hunger Games. So he made The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Those were books, right?
They were big books. I think the movie was a failure, and I think that was sort of the end of Harold Zwart.
Yeah, I worked an event with that author, I think, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it one of those ones that was like a fan fiction author that like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So then he went back to the...
Claire?
What?
Is it Cassandra Clare?
I have no
That's right
fucking
off
idea.
the top of my head.
You want me to look that up?
If that is accurate, I mean, boy, my memory is strange.
It was Cassandra Clare.
Holy shit.
Mhm.
How on earth did
You
I
met
remember?
this lady?
I guess so. Didn't make much
Whoa.
of an impression, I guess.
I'm surprised.
Oh, really? Oh, she's a pretty lass.
Henry, you get her anything from the cafe?
Probably.
The old Barnes & Noble cafe?
What would I have given her, sir?
I don't know. How much do you have back there? Sorry. All right. So that movie tanked, and then he went and made his Nazi movie.
That's E.L. James is who I think of when I think of the more.
Honestly,
hungry.
they look identical. Yeah, Cassandra Clare might be a little better put together. It seems like she went and got her hair done. Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas E.L. James just, she
rolled out
just
of a
like
cabbage
ate.
filled- Yeah.
She ate a bucket of fucking
Like
chuck
Mama Cat.
steak and just like rolled out of her house and came and signed books.
So did all of her fans, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Fucking E.L. James. Awful.
How sad. man.
I don't mean to fat shame, except when somebody is repulsively fat, like disgusting, like awful. Like, really. You know, I don't like to say unhealthy, because that's the thing that fat shamers say in order to fat shame. They want to call people unhealthy. But sometimes I am looking at people and I'm just like, why aren't you dead? Like, how are you a person walking around in the world?
I mean, I don't want to fat shame anyone either. It is unhealthy. I mean, of course it is.
All right, well, there will be no fat shaming in this film. There are no fat people in it. All right, next. That's Harold Zwart. Our new writer is a fellow by the name of Christopher Murphy. You familiar with him?
Yeah, he's a Democratic senator from Connecticut.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, his only other credit, really, is he created the ABC procedural drama Body of Proof, in which Dana Delaney plays a medical examiner. I remember when that was a show.
I love Dana Delaney.
Do you?
Loved her. Yeah, it was kind of a little thing for her.
Is Dana Delaney the one who was in the bathroom when she got called for the Golden Globe, or was that Christine Lahti?
Oh, that's Christine Lahti.
I get them confused.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Dana Delaney's in the S&M Dan Aykroyd, Rosie O'Donnell movie.
Exit to Eden.
Yeah, and she's in Tombstone.
They should have called Exit to Eden Tombstone. Exit to Eden. God, fucking Christ. I haven't thought of that movie in a while.
Woo.
Yeah, really bad. All right, this film was released June 11th, 2010 on a budget of $40 million. Obviously the most expensive Karate Kid film. But don't even fucking worry about it. What a hit this was. 359.1 at the box office. Massive. Number 11 for 2010. Right there between Tangled and Tron Legacy. I was surprised to see Tron Legacy at number 12. I thought that movie kind of was a failure, but maybe it just cost too much.
I mean, I remember that summer well, and I remember I didn't see Tron. I still haven't.
I haven't seen it either. I was supposed to, and I got stood up on a date, and I just went home.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was it was a bummer too. It was a date I was looking forward to.
Oh boy. Oh, Boise, Idaho.
And then she never contacted me again. I texted her like, not even mad, like, well, what happened, buddy? What's going on? And
nothing.
Never ghosted me. And this is in the days before ghosting.
Right.
You know? I mean, now you can ghost. It's not even impolite. It's like a polite thing to do to not talk to anybody anymore. Back then, well, I wasn't used to it.
Yeah, no, that sucks, man. I think if you've made plans with somebody and you've set a time and a place, there's no excuse for that. You shouldn't have let it get that far.
Yeah.
You know? I've never been stood up in my life.
Oh, well, good for you, Henry. Bully for this motherfucker.
No, not really. I just think I can just kind of tell. I don't know. I'm not going to go make it there that far. But you didn't have that on your side, like apps and shit back then. You were going with live people and shit.
This guy bringing up, I mean, I just told a heartbreaking story about getting stood up on a date.
Defending you.
Henry responds, I've never been stood up.
That's not how I meant it. It's not how I meant it at all.
Good heavens.
It's not how I meant it at all, my friend. That's not how I meant it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's awful.
You know, and then years later, I actually saw her on a dating app. And you know how on some of the dating apps you can write a little intro?
Yeah.
I wrote her one. And I was like, you've stood me up once.
That's
like
great.
Before dating apps.
That's great. Good.
Yeah. Anyway. I hope she's rotting in hell somewhere. Anyway, The Karate Kid.
Single, so she didn't find the love of her life.
Nominated for 2 types of awards. The Kids and the People. All right? Oh. The Kids and the People recognize this film.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we go.
It's the Kids' Choice Awards. It's KCA to you, but it's the kids making the choice,
yeah. Yeah.
Who'd they choose?
They won Best Movie at the Kids' Choice Awards. This movie.
Wow.
The kids fucking chose this, all right? They saw a movie called The Karate Kid. They never even heard of the Karate. I bet you they never heard of the Karate Kid before.
Of course not.
And they are just like, all right, yeah, I'm a kid. I like karate. Let's see it. It's a good title. You know, I can see why they kept the title even though there's no karate in it.
Yeah. Would it have mattered if they called it the Kung Fu Kid?
I don't think it's as good. I think the Kung Fu Kid sounds like a B movie, whereas the Karate Kid, for some reason, sounds like a mainstream vehicle.
It might have been a problem, too, because they were trying to differentiate it from, like, Kung Fu Panda and shit like that.
See, but that's interesting. Kung Fu Panda was a thing. So kids were... They
Yeah.
knew about Kung Fu. Why not just call it the Kung Fu Kid?
Well, that would... Okay, so that's a different take, sure. But my question was just going to be, like, in 2010, how did they not pick something that fucking Pixar was throwing out there? Like, how did this beat that stuff? That's very surprising to me.
Henry, play the theme.
What theme?
Pixar DreamWorks. Play it now.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't see that coming. Okay, it's been a while, folks.
Pixar is good. DreamWorks is bad. Get it right on, Dan will be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar is good. DreamWorks is bad. Amazingly. Hopefully someday Henry will get it right. DreamWorks is bad.
Is Kung Fu Panda a Pixar movie?
Well, gathering from your reaction, as I wasn't saying it was or wasn't, I'm going to gather it's a DreamWorks production.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right. Listen.
That was a lot of, yeah. Oh, okay.
Get it right or Dan will be mad.
Well, that's how the song is written for a reason.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jaden Smith was nominated for Best Actor of the Year, all right, for the Kids' Choice Awards, and he lost to Johnny Depp for Alice in Wonderland, his classic performance as the Mad Hatter. And Jackie Chan nominated for Best Favorite Butt Kicker, and he won as well.
Well, that's what he is. He does do that. Not in this, but
I bet you he got slimed. If Jackie Chan, I will put money on this. I'll bet you at some point in Jackie Chan's life, he has been slimed on a Nickelodeon stage.
Absolutely.
He seems like he would love it.
He's a fun guy. He doesn't care about that. I think his ego's in check.
You know what? God bless Jackie Chan.
I love Jackie Chan.
God bless him.
I bet he's a cool dude.
God
God bless him for dealing with this fucking movie.
I have no idea what he'd be like. What would Jackie Chan be like? Like, okay, I understand what Jackie Chan might be like if you, like, met him and you were like, I'm a big Jackie Chan fan. You know, he'd probably be awesome. He'd probably be so cool to talk to, so nice. He'd sign anything you want him to. But, like, what would Jackie Chan, do you think, would be like in, like, an intimate relationship? Like, what would it be like to be in a sexual relationship with Jackie Chan?
It would be very acrobatic. You'd have to be very in shape.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the sex, okay? Because I do believe that Jackie Chan's a sexual being. We talked about this in Rush Hour 2. We were happy they gave him that sexy Latina love interest.
Oh,
Rosalind Sanchez, I believe, if I remember that name right.
Yeah.
But what would he be like, just like pillow talk with Jackie Chan?
Ooh, boy, that's a great question. I
would love to know. Like, what does he talk about? Does he talk about politics? Is he interested in...
Maybe.
Like, he's been making movies for a long time. Does he have, like strong opinions on films?
Yeah, that's his pillow talk. He's like,
That's my pillow talk?
Yeah, I was rewatching Citizen Kane the other day. It's really, really a shame that Charles Foster Kane didn't learn any martial arts, could have taken down those bad press guys.
You think it's just martial arts? You think all the pillow talk is martial arts talk?
What if it was?
I think he'd have to be with a very special kind of woman, because I think most people would be like, Jackie, I mean, I get it. Yes, you are synonymous with martial arts, but...
You know what I bet it is? I bet he likes cooking. He strikes me as someone has fun in the kitchen.
I mean, that's interesting, but why? Is it because he played a professional chef in his classic film, Mr. Nice Guy?
I never saw that, so
You're missing out.
No, I bet I am. No, he feels like he's somebody who likes to like study things and become good at them. So I imagine like cuisine is probably something he finds interesting. So, and especially in Pillow Talk, he might want to be discussing, after we just had coitus, maybe I could rustle you up some perfect omelet or something. And
Chan's making omelets post-sex?
Sure. Hey, you never know, man. Whatever you're in the mood for after that event.
He probably is a pretty giving lover.
He doesn't seem like a selfish guy to me in any way, so, yeah.
You never know, though. He's rich, Yeah. I don't trust rich people. Any of them.
Well, I don't either. I don't like them, but, yeah.
Is he married? Do we know anything about Jackie Chan's personal life?
I don't know anything about Jackie Chan.
I'm looking it up right now. I want to know about Jackie Chan because we don't get to talk about him a lot. He hasn't been in a lot of franchises, but he's made so many classic films. So many you can't even count. Just Rush Hour.
In Shanghai.
In 1982, oh, that's right, Shanghai Noon. We'll do that someday.
Which I saw.
Me too. I never saw the sequel.
Me neither.
In 1982, Chan married Joan Lin, a Taiwanese actress. Oh, aren't we allowed to? We're in a podcast in 2021. I'm not sure we're allowed to acknowledge that Taiwan exists.
Oh, you mean the China?
I think China might get mad at me.
Been wanting for thousands of years. Okay.
All right. In 1992, Chan married Joan Lin, a Taiwanese actress. Their son, singer and actor JC Chan, was born that same year. Chan's extramarital affair with Elaine Ng Yilei produced probably not Ng, Jesus Christ. It produced a daughter by the name of Etta Wen Chok Lam, born on January 18th, 1999. It was a scandal within the media, all right?
Ooh.
He reportedly gave Elaine 70,000 Hong Kong dollars each month for her living expenses and 600,000 Hong Kong dollars when she moved to Shanghai. All right?
Wow.
Those transactions were later claimed to be non-existent by her lawyer. Despite regretting the results of the affair, Chan said he had only committed a fault that many men in the world would commit.
Oh,
not
Jackie.
Yeah. All right, so he's still with that first wife, though. So I don't know what Jackie Chan. What an enigma.
Wait, so he had the affair, and then he was paying her money, and now they're still together?
No. He was with this woman in 82, right? Then he had an affair. The woman gave birth in 99, and he just stayed with the one from 82, and they're still together today.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
He's still with his original. What? Wow.
Yeah, like Bill Clinton.
I think Jackie Chan. I think Bill Clinton. Yeah. Wow. You know what, man? You never know.
Did I break him for you? Is Jackie Chan canceled, ladies and gents?
Probably.
Canceled?
He would definitely be canceled if he did it today. He's done.
Yeah, I think so. Although, he's like an old man now. I feel like Jackie Chan's at the point now where he could do anything for the rest of his life, and then when he died, it would be a reset, like Michael Jackson.
Oh, God.
You know, like when Michael Jackson died, all the pictures in the papers were like him when he was like 20 or like a kid or whatever. That's what would happen to Jackie Chan. Like even if in 2022 Jackie Chan he couldn't gang rape anyone. He's just one man. But I mean, he's Jackie Chan. I don't want to put anything by him. But if he beat his fucking, if we found out. Okay, so he has this daughter through the extramarital affair. If we found out he Woody Allen'd that daughter, okay?
Oh, God.
I bet you when he died, you would only see pictures from Rush Hour.
Wow, this is some alternate universe hypothesizing that is absolutely amazing. Wow, Jackie Chan. This guy's done nothing to anyone.
Let's talk about the People's Choice Awards.
Oh my God. What a strange tangent. All right, here we go.
Strange tangent.
Make the choice. It's up to the people that choose as they see fit. Fitbit choosing the People's Choice Awards. It's the choice awards to the people.
That still makes me laugh. All right. Best family movie. It was nominated.
No,
It didn't win, Henry. The winner was Toy Story 3.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Although Toy Story 3 was horrifying and riveting, and gave me tremors, so I don't know how family friendly it is.
I mean, it's still about toys.
It is.
Yucking
It is.
around.
Well, they're yucking around, but that final half hour when they're like about to get devoured.
They all survive. It's fine.
I was not in a. I was a wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, I was crying, but not like a scared cry. It was more like a nostalgic, sad cry.
No, I was scared.
You were scared. Henry was scared of Toy Story 3. Why wasn't that on your horror movie list?
Should have. Oh, it should have been. Should have been.
Smith and Chan, Jaden Smith, of course, and Jackie Chan were nominated for the best team, like on-screen team, and
Boy.
they lost to Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner from Twilight Saga Eclipse. And I gotta say, I disagree with that. I don't see them as a team. Seems like they were all rivals and lovers.
Yeah. Great point. I mean, not having seen Twilight, I do know enough that I know there's some love triangles happening.
Jacob and team... What was Robert Pattinson in that movie?
I believe it was Team
Edward.
Edward.
Yeah, Edward and Jacob. I don't believe they were ever on the same team. Come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah.
They wanted to fucking kill each other for this broad.
Yeah. Were they the werewolves or vampires?
Both, you understand. Jacob was a werewolf. Edward, a vampire.
Right. I didn't know which one was
You want to do
which.
Twilight in November?
That's fine.
Okay, maybe. Let us know if you want us to do that. All right. Let's fucking just talk about
Yeah, let's.
the
please.
Karate Kid. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same setup as the original. Although, I was, like, blown away by the beginning because it was so very, like, of the time. Where, like, now, when we do, like, origin stories, you always have to, like, take it back to, like, when I was a fetus in my mother's womb. So, of course, like, the original Karate Kid opens with them, like, getting, like, they're already, like, moving into their new apartment in California and talking about, like, we'll be okay. This move will
Right.
be good for us. And that's all
Right.
you really need. But, of course, in this movie, we need to see them packing and talking about,
Yeah.
like, so, are you sad Dad died? Yeah. China's gonna be weird. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, it was strange. We got a notion that his dad died from, I believe, a marking on his wall. So that was that.
well, they talk about it a lot at the beginning. Yeah, there's the marking on the wall thing for sure. And I think Taraji P. Henson, who plays his mom, asks him a few times, like, if he's all right. He's a fragile little boy. That's the other
Right.
big change in this movie.
He's eight.
He's
so that-
supposed to be 12, but
Yeah.
I mean, even if we accept that he's 12, which is that's still
Big.
young.
Big problem with this film. Big problem.
It's a huge problem when you're 16 or
I do agree.
yeah. When you're 16 or 17, like Daniel-san was, like you have agency. Like he goes to the Cobra Kai dojo and he is concerned with what he sees and he has feelings about it, and then he goes back to Mr. Miyagi and Mr. Miyagi can like tell him a story about his life and like Daniel could relate to it. When I was 12, like I was trying to figure out what my boners were and listening to Korn. Like you're an idiot. You're barely a person.
Correct.
You're not even a teenager. Like a 12-year-old, you're not a human being at that point.
Yeah. Nope. Agreed. Agreed. And not for everything you just said, but also among other things, just the physicality alone.
Yeah.
Now, the kid can't help that he's a tiny 12-year-old.
There's
but
no physicality. He has a stunt double. I assume they use some black dwarf, and he's doing a lot of karate and kung fu in this movie. And I don't know. It's
you're 12 and you're trying. I mean, you haven't physically developed even to the point of being a teenager. I'm not interested in your romance.
Oh my God. I
ideas.
mean, yeah, you pretty much have to feign interest with a 16-year-old to be interested in their romance. You know they're not going to end up together probably, and if they do, they're going to be creepy and weird. And like fucking a 12-year-old, what 12-year-old has like this? They are not going to be together in 2 months. You know? Like fucking summer's going to happen. And he's going to see one girl wearing a fucking skirt, and it's going to be over. All right?
The whole conceit of of having, unfortunately, him in the role it's a problem. I mean, the part of the entire, just one of the facets of the original, the only Karate Kid is that, like you said, I mean, Ralph Macchio is on the verge of at least being an adult. He's got teen angst. He's
called
got
Jaden Smith Ralph Pussio.
Yeah, I'm with you. And and when he gets bullied, I mean, it's fucking hardcore. He's laughing at his own joke.
Sorry.
It's okay. It was good. That's some hardcore, serious bullying, and you have class distinctions, and you got all these other aspects coming in. You have a very believable romance.
You could have done that here, though. Like
absolutely, but not with a 12-year-old.
A teenage black kid going to China and learning kung fu from a local because he's being bullied could be interesting. It could be like a better version of Tokyo Drift with more believable class distinctions.
Yes.
That is just not this movie, though, because he's flat out 12. And there's another big problem going into this, and it's just that it's Will Smith's son. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to Jaden. Like, I'm not sorry to Jaden. He has a perfect life, and nothing bad has ever happened to him, ever. I don't care.
It's funny, though, that you're doing this, because I was also thinking ahead in this show when I watched it. I was like, I have to tread carefully here, because I don't want to hurt, like, a kid's feelings. And then I'm like, wait a second. This was 11 years ago.
Oh, fuck Jaden Smith. I wish someone would kick the shit out of him. He deserves to have just the ever-loving shit kicked out of him. Like, Jaden Smith, if I read tomorrow that he was on a fucking breathing tube in a hospital as a result of some motherfucker kicking the shit out of him, I would be happy, all right? But
Is he not a good person?
I don't care. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But just fuck this kid.
Where we are, folks. It's where we are.
But I just think that going into this movie is a struggle, because in The Karate Kid, it's all about the story. There's no obstacles, right? Ralph Macchio is a newcomer. It's Daniel San. You're meeting this random kid from Newark, and you decide whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
You're going into this movie knowing that Will Smith got this kid this job, that he's Will Smith's son. Like, you can't go into it with nothing on your mind.
I agree.
Like, I can't sit here and I reject the idea that any film reviewer, when this movie came out, was able to look at this movie objectively and in their review write about whether or not Jaden Smith's performance is good. I have no fucking idea whether he was good in this movie.
I agree with you completely. And I was also just hesitant to bring it up, too, because I know how much more you like Will Smith than I do. But you see a lot of his, like, dad's, even his acting, his tics, his facial expressions. He's clearly been watching Men in Black a lot.
But when Will Smith came into the world, Like when Will Smith showed up for the first time on like Fresh Prince and in 6 Degrees of Separation, he was an unknown quantity, and like that was one of Will Smith's.
Of course.
That was one of his strengths, though. Like people were like, "Oh, he's this fucking rapper kid," and then he showed up and he's like charismatic and shit. Nobody knew anything about him, so like. It was a surprise when Will Smith surprised everyone by becoming a movie star. Jaden Smith was like the opposite. He didn't come out of nowhere. He came out of everywhere. His birth was a huge news story. He came out into the world around the time Wild Wild West did. You know.
Yeah. Right. It was very distracting, and I didn't stop thinking about it the whole movie. Whether I was.
It's impossible. If you tell me that you were able to look at this movie and just judge this movie on Jaden Smith's performance, like I think he was good. I actually felt he was promising in this movie, and I was disappointed when he stopped acting. If anyone ever says that to me, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah. No, I get you, man. And you know, it's funny though too, right? Because is there? We talk about this kind of stuff a lot, but like people who are, you know, movie hounds or not movie hounds. I mean, even in this situation, is there anyone on the planet who could enter this movie and not know who he is? I mean, it might be possible.
No, it is not. It's not. It's not in China. It's not in Zimbabwe. It's not in Antarctica. Everyone on the planet Earth knows who the fuck Will Smith is. And you know what? At the start of this movie, even if you fucking don't know that Jaden Smith is Will Smith's son, executive producer Will Smith and Jaden Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's still weird that he's named so close to his mom's name.
Oh, yeah. Jada and Jaden.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it. Yeah.
What about Willow? Do you have a feeling on Willow?
Who's that, their other kid?
Yeah, whip my hair back and forth. You don't remember that?
Oh, I just know that Val Kilmer wasn't bad in that movie.
In Willow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. If I can just find Whip My Hair, I'll play it for you.
Whip My Hair.
So this was around the same time as Jaden put out this movie at Will Smith's daughter, who was even younger, put out a hit single.
Younger than he is in this movie.
Yeah, she was like 9 or something. And she put out a hit single called Whip My Hair, and she has very long hair, and in the video, she's whipping it back and forth. Is she talented? How do you feel about her? Willow. I've never seen Henry look so pained in my life.
I mean, just, you know, I don't have kids. I don't want kids.
Do you want me to play the kid? Here's the Kids Bop Kids doing it.
Go to... what
Here, Jimmy Fallon on my show.
Oh boy. Oh my. I don't know, man. That's just, there's so many levels where I find that obnoxious. Starting with parenting, I can't even.
Well, you know, the thing is, though, I will give Will one thing. I don't think it was a matter of pushing his kids into the entertainment industry. I really think that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith just do whatever their kids want them to do. So they were going through a phase here where they wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Jaden was in a movie and Willow made the song. But then, like, Jaden didn't make any more movies. Like, this was a huge hit and they wanted to make sequels to it. And Jaden didn't want to. And Will Smith wasn't like, you have to. He was just like, all right, you can go to college.
Wow. So okay, I didn't know that. So he did nothing else, this kid?
I mean, now he's just sort of like an influencer. He's like a really handsome kid. He's 19. He's got weird hair. He's annoying on Twitter.
What a fucking country, man.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Henry. All right, let's.
Influencer. Are we influencers? You
No,
think?
no, definitely not. We need a few
I
more
don't know about-
followers for that.
I think we influence our followers.
We influence a certain brand of fucking weirdo for sure, but
Hey, it counts.
it definitely counts, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they moved. He gets bullied. I mean, what are we even going to talk about? It's the same movie.
No, man. They instead of going from Newark to L.A., we go from Detroit to Beijing.
Oh
So
yeah, they're in Detroit. He's got he wears a lot of Lions stuff in this movie.
Yeah, big Lions fan. Still hoping for him to win on Thanksgiving Day.
Do you think he was upset that Matthew Stafford had such a great week, his first week outside of Detroit this past week?
I don't know. I'm still upset about Barry Sanders. So
Oh no, sure. Heavens to Megatron.
yeah. So we get Taraji P Henson, who I generally love. to
I
be
think she's
honest.
good in this movie.
Yeah, she's doing what she can. I mean, they don't do much for her. I mean, they just have her basically yelling all
I
the
know.
time.
They cast Taraji, and I was like,
Such a
well,
waste.
that's interesting. So
Yeah.
the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So I'm thinking, like, how are they going to fucking expand this story? Because,
Yeah.
it was too long in the first place, and now we're extending it by a half hour. So they cast Taraji P. Henson. I was like, that's something you can do that's different. Because we, like, gave no time to Daniel's, like, immediate family in those Karate Kid movies.
Like time to his mother.
No, the mom's always out of time dealing with emphysema or something. And so in this movie, casting an Academy Award nominated actress by this point, Taraji P. Henson.
Yes.
I was like, great, you can deal with that. We can see what his home
Right.
life is like. And I thought, like, you've got Jaden Smith, who's just like a famous person's son. You've got Jackie Chan, who is like a great movie star, but like you don't have any actors in this movie. And so
No.
like Taraji P. Henson is the only person in this movie who can really, the only American person in this movie, certainly, that can call themselves an actor. And
Yeah.
and but she's really not given much to do. Like her best scene in the whole fucking movie is when she like takes her kid to school for the first time, and like that one teacher gives her shit.
right.
Like I liked that scene. I wish there was more to it.
Yeah, they have her in here, and it's just such a waste of her like talent, her emotions, everything she can do in a role, and it's just like and oddly,
That's what Jaden looks like now, by the way.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
God, man,
What do you think?
God,
All right, sorry.
that's
I cut you off.
shocking,
Simply shocking.
simply shocking. And it is weird because they don't give her really any more prominence than they give Daniel's mom.
I know.
Because all you do is just have her yell at the kid for not picking up his coat, foreshadowing.
They also
And-
don't add any subplots. Like
No,
the
none.
way they extend it is simply by making everything longer and more boring.
Correct. I mean, they could have had her maybe meet a love interest. Shit. At one point in the movie, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was like, how nice would it be if Jackie Chan and Taraji P. Henson got together?
That would be great. Why didn't they do that?
Oh, it was right there in front of them.
They probably would have had good chemistry too. It would have been a sweet
I
story.
agree. I agree. Would have been great. Mom finds love in Beijing. Mr. Han finds a new lease on life.
It's not like they're trying to respect the original, because like on the one, I can see like them trying to say like having Mr. Miyagi fuck Daniel's mom is weird,
That would work.
but
No,
like
but
in the
it's
context
totally-
of this, where he's not even Mr. Miyagi, he's Mr. Han, all right?
And he doesn't have any of the same sort of backstory as Miyagi.
I knew
mean,
the second this movie started that I was not watching anything that was trying to appeal to me. Like
I second that emotion, Smokey.
because like we've been watching Cobra Kai all weekend. We're gonna talk about that in like 5 minutes once we're done talking about this shit. And Cobra Kai is a nostalgia fest. And like I'm not even
Best way.
In a good way, yeah. I'm not saying it as a negative. I normally hate empty nostalgia, but this is a show that like found a use for its nostalgia and directed it at something.
I agree.
At a story and a theme and something worth telling, I think. And then so I started it before watching this movie, even though this movie came first, because I wanted to like get through a lot of it, you know?
Yeah.
And that show, one thing about it is it uses a lot of like 80s music, and the tone and sort of pacing of it feels like a kind of 80s movie, and it's very into having like black and white characters, like villains and good guys, and then sort of later exploring them and learning that they're not exactly that. And
No, they're nuanced,
I
though,
think
because that's part of the times.
adding nuance, though, to very broad characters, which is what I think the 80s was about a lot of the time. And to me, without even the nostalgia, without bringing Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso back into the story, I think tonally they've already captured something with that show that is reminiscent of the original movies and respectful of the original movies.
I totally agree with you.
Whereas in this movie, and I'm not even giving this movie shit, I just don't think they thought about it at all. Like, I don't think...
You don't see it anywhere.
I don't think they wanted people that are fans of the original series to go see this even. I think what they're making with this movie is a family movie for right now. I think this movie was for kids in 2010. And Mikey Graff, listener of the show, told me that, like, his kid told him one day, like, I saw The Karate Kid. And he was like, oh, did you like Mr. Miyagi and stuff? And his kid was like, oh, you mean Han? So, like, this is the Karate Kid for another generation. I do think that Cobra Kai, like, now is such a huge hit for kids on Netflix that this movie's kind of been forgotten in a weird way.
Of course.
But at the time, look at that box office, $359.1 million. The movie starts with, like, this very gentle score, this family music score. I felt like I was watching Angels in the Outfield or something. Like, who did the score of this movie?
Oh, I have no idea. I'd have to. I got it.
James Horner, the great James Horner of Titanic. Okay.
I could hear a lot of Hornerisms.
You can. There's like flute. It's just so ever gentle.
Yes, yeah, and then in the end, certainly in the finale, well, the extended finale,
and you don't hear any. There's no music cues. You're not hearing "You're the Best." You're not hearing "Glory of Love." You're not hearing
a lot of pop. Like you're hearing a lot of hip hop stuff.
But you're hearing modern pop because this is. I'm telling you, they called it The Karate Kid because they thought it was a good title, but this is not trying to appeal to Karate Kid fans. This is a Karate Kid remake for kids who want to see Jaden Smith.
Well, and point in case in point, rather. I mean, when it came out, people like, I don't know about you, but people like you and me, I would say, didn't really give a shit about it because we didn't need.
I didn't even notice. I so get annoyed when people get upset over shit like this that I try not to pay attention when the casting happens. Like when Robert Pattinson got cast as Batman, I ignored it entirely because I just didn't want to hear the positives. Right. I didn't want to hear the negatives. It's so exhausting. People judging performances before a performance has been made. And so...
I meant the interest in the movie. Like just as like, oh, they remade their Karate Kid. I didn't care. I wasn't like, oh, let's see what that's going to be about. It wasn't.
But I feel like I would have. I don't know. I was interested though when Cobra Kai came out on that level. I was interested when they announced Jackie Chan was Mr. Miyagi in a new Karate Kid movie. Like when that announcement first happened, I was like, that's awesome. I will watch that.
Sure.
And then when Jaden Smith was announced, I was I'm sure it was announced at the same time, but it was like two sides of the same thing. Like
yeah.
Jackie Chan's Miyagi, great. Jaden Smith as Daniel LaRusso, fuck no. And I know he's not Daniel LaRusso, he's Dre. What is it? Chai Gray? Was it?
What is it?
What's
I thought
his?
it was Parker.
No, I know, but what do they call him instead of San?
Zhao Dre.
Zhao Dre, right? Of course.
Yeah, Zhao Dre.
I mean,
You know, he gets bullied by kids in the playground. It's particularly brutal. I mean, they're giving him backflips and something a 12-year-old would be in a hospital for in about 4 seconds. And, you know...
But did they even have a casting call for this bully? I feel like they just picked the first Chinese kid they found on the street and put him in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's got this poor kid.
He's nobody.
Got nothing to work with at all. Nor did they even give the sensei, or in this... master, I guess. They don't give him any...
They don't give him anything. But he at least is giving a performance. Like, you look at him from afar and he's like, yeah, I'm an evil guy. And you know, they get that one scene where he smacks that one kid.
Yeah.
I love that.
The whole movie is essentially like... And I thought this when I was watching it. I was like, this whole movie is like one hair away from child abuse. Like, they're just beating the fuck out of all these kids. They're beating the fuck out of each other. The master's beating up his students. Jackie Chan is basically training.
But that's the problem with having him be 12.
Right. He's training him like he's actually not even like a teenager. He's training him like he's an adult. Like,
and
this is like
he commits to the fucking tournament before they even start training. Like, so Jaden gets beat up on the playground and then runs away, and then Jackie Chan beats up the bullies or whatever, which is fine. And then the next day...
That was an awkward scene, too. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was an awkward scene, too, though. I was like, as it was coming, I was like, how are they going to do the Miyagi fighting the Cobra Kai? Because it's not going to work, because Jackie Chan's going to be fighting a bunch of 11-year-olds. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because kids. I mean, you can just fucking stiff arm them and get rid of them.
That's mostly what he's doing.
He is. He's making them hit each other. They're crafty about, like, trying not to show.
Yeah, he throws them into each other a lot.
But it's nonsense. I mean, it's utter nonsense.
Yeah.
But
you can't cast an older actor, because the whole reason this movie exists is because of the existence of this child.
And you know what's funny, too, is that I was thinking about it. I looked up Jackie Chan's age, and he's like fucking 5 years older than Pat Morita was in the first movie, which is incredible just because of the way they look. But, like...
He looks old in this movie, though. Like, he doesn't look as spry. Like...
But there's also a lot of that, I think a lot of that is a little bit in his performance, because he's like always hunched over with his shoulders kind of bent. He never acts like that.
Well, he's playing a broken man in the same way. Not in the same way, actually. Miyagi was a broken man in that, like, he'd had like this scary, traumatic past, but like he'd mostly gotten through everything and received some measure of zenness. Whereas Miyagi in this movie, Han, is still like in it. Like, so there's that whole subplot of him like fixing the car, and then Jaden catches him beating, like kicking the shit out of the car, and he's like, hey, you just fixed that car, why did you beat it up now?
Which is such a poorly delivered line of dialogue, because the way Jackie Chan says it, that it's June 8th, and then he's like basically describing what happened to his wife and son in a car wreck. I thought in my head, I was like, does this mean that he spends the whole year refurbishing the same car, and then on June 8th he destroys it?
Yes, I think that is what the story is here.
So his entire life is restoring a car.
Well, how long does it take to restore a car? Like, maybe he's only doing it in like the month leading up to the date.
It'd be great if it was the whole year.
Just around the clock. That's my life.
And you're really dedicated to that car. And then on June 9th, everyone comes around. It's like, God, every year with this guy. What's going on?
Yeah. He might get a DUI at some point.
I would think so. Yeah. He's drinking some substance. We get a quick glimpse of that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Not like in Cobra Kai. There's so much drinking in Cobra Kai. I got triggered a couple times. I'm serious. What else? Do you have anything else to say? They go visit the fucking Cobra Kai, the fake Cobra Kai, and they're like, no, your kid's an asshole. We want to fight you. And
Right.
Jackie Chan's like, fine, we'll enter him into this tournament. He's never done karate in his life, but one time I caught him doing it on television. And he's gonna beat up all your guys at the tournament. Is that cool? And then like they leave, and I'm like, what if you're this 12, like you're banking on this 12-year-old kid. You have never seen him do karate. Never.
No.
It's not like you've seen him do something and you're like, I see something in this kid. I think
Right.
I can pull some brilliant kung fu, not karate. I keep saying karate, but it's not, out of this kid.
Right.
Let's see what we can do. He's just like, I mean, what does he figure? He's just like some black kid shows up and he's like, he must have physical abilities.
He must know how to fight. He's from Detroit. Yeah, and the other thing I had brought up in the original movies, the fact that it was still a little hard to believe, even though it doesn't matter because they're so great, the fact that Daniel could take on a lot of these guys. But at least he's of an age where he's probably more developed and he has a chance at some strategic moves. This kid's like 3'8".
They show him getting knocked down and then like kipping up. And I'm like, yeah, sure. A fucking 12-year-old Jaden Smith can do
I'd
that.
be crying. If that had happened, I'd be crying for my mother. I'd be weeping and crying and say, please take me out of here. Please take me, give me a Transformer toy.
Well,
or
remember
something.
he tried to wear that floppy hat at the beginning to cover up his black eye?
Yeah, that's right.
That was cute.
Ugh. Yeah, I would think that there'd be like also weight divisions of which like Jackie Chan would be like, we'll fight you in the tournament, but they have to be 70 pounds or less.
Yeah, I know.
And
How
this
much
guy's
could this kid possibly weigh? He's
Oh my
definitely
God.
under 100 pounds.
Of course. I don't know. It's hard to believe. So anyway, the tournament comes and they replay all the moments on the big screen. They have a big jumbotron. That's nice. And then they steal the Miyagi. Instead of the hand rub to heal his leg, they give him a marshmallow on fire. So that was interesting.
And there's a leg sweep. They do that.
Yeah, but they don't.
They don't say sweep the leg, but there is a leg
break
sweep.
his leg. I think they say break his leg or something. I don't know what it is. Fucking whatever. It's terrible, man. It's so bad.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I can't say that enough. Like,
No, you can't. And you know me, I'm always on board generally, but this is fucking nonsense. Even the specter, you know how we're talking about the specter of going into this knowing that it's Will Smith's son. I had the specter of 140 minutes, and I never have that really. And I'm just like, 140 fucking minutes? There's no way this can be that. And it was. And then in the credits, we get fucking photographs of like bloopers and on-set.
oh, I didn't see that. I shut it right off.
I don't blame you. I did too. I was like on my phone, so like I peered over and I was like, "Oh, great!" And then I turned it off.
Did Jackie Chan sing over the closing credits? Do you remember?
No.
Remember when we covered Rush Hour? We discovered Jackie Chan's singing career.
Yeah. I think this was a song. Didn't they play a duet with Bieber and Smith on it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's another thing. Oh, Will Smith, and over the closing credits, he'll sing a duet with the most popular singer in the world right now. No worries.
Man, that shit's crazy.
That's Jackie Chan.
It's not bad. He's got a very high voice.
It's not him singing. I want to hear him sing. Oh, here we go. This is number one song on Spotify.
I've heard this.
I don't know. I feel like the one we played when we were doing Rush Hour was better.
Can't say sizes for calls.
If you listen to the beginning of that episode, you'll hear it. All right, anyway, what do you give this movie?
I was like a little torn because I didn't want to go back on what I said a couple of weeks ago about in order for me to give a 1, I really have to like fucking hate something, and got to be no value to it whatsoever. And but I mean, really, this movie pretty much is trash. So I'm going with 1, man.
I give Jaden Smith a 1 as a person.
You're gonna go 2.
No, I'm gonna give this a 1 also.
Are you really? Oh, I'm surprised. Okay.
No, honestly, fuck this movie. And it's one of the better made movies that I've given a 1 to. Harold Swart has he's all right. He's workmanlike or whatever, but like he puts together a good looking movie. This movie cost $40 million. It looks like $1 million. The fucking the Forbidden Kingdom shit is cool. The weird snake retreat is interesting. Like they got major actors for it. Like this is a legitimate film. This, by all rights, should not get a 1. But you know what this movie is? It's fucking gross.
Yeah, I agree.
This movie's very existence is gross.
I agree, and then the content within the movie is kind of gross too. I mean, just within the kids being, so young and just being, it's so fucking stupid. It's just so dumb. And actually, you bring up a really good point where you say you reserve your 1s for like shit that just looks almost unprofessionally made, but I don't, and you don't always either. I mean, you've given 1s to movies that are actual movies, but I mean, for the most part, I think we're tempted to just reserve the 1s for that. But fuck that. A bad movie's a bad movie. This has really no.
I went into this movie saying fuck this movie, and that's on me. But it's the movie's job. Like I'm sitting there for the full 2 hours and 20 minutes. I have to. It's for the podcast. It's the movie's job for me to at some point get out of my head and just sit there and watch the movie. I don't even need to be enjoying it. I just need to be involved in it. But no, for 2 hours and 20 minutes, I was sitting there in my head saying fuck you. And that's a 1.
I was biased a little bit because of the Will Smith thing, but other than that, I was looking at the 2 other bright sides. I was like, okay, Jackie Chan and Taraji P. Henson, maybe there's something there. And I did like the 12th Man, so maybe he knows how to direct, So, and then that immediately dissipated. And it all just went to the ridiculousness of everything we've talked about, and the Will Smith shadow cast loomed a lot larger than I thought it would be for me.
The kids at every scene.
I just couldn't. It was just silly, just utter nonsense.
You think Will Smith had final cut? Don't cut out a single moment of My Beautiful Boy.
Probably. I'm sure. Well, he was an executive producer.
That's right. Yeah, he probably did.
Gotta give some Dutch guy to make the final cut.
Yeah. Who's your MVP? I'm surprised Barry Sonnenfeld didn't direct this fucking thing.
Yeah, why didn't Will Smith try to get like a massive director?
Yeah.
God. I mean, it's between Jackie and then Taraji. I mean, I'm just always happy to see Taraji P. Henson, so I'm just gonna give it to her.
All right, I'll go Jackie then.
Yeah,
I was between them also. And the LVP is Jaden, and I will give a special shout out to the love interest of Jaden Smith, Mei Yin, because she was appallingly bad.
However, I did enjoy the arrangement of the Chopin piece.
I knew you would.
Yeah, that was very pleasant, and anytime it played, I was like, oh, that's a nice little respite.